It is time.
Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. Hope y'all are doing all right. If you're in Ohio, we're actually had a little bit of a warm up, although it's about to go away, unfortunately.
It's still the wind's not good outside. It sucks.
This is one of those times where this is a cliche thing to say in the Midwest that it wouldn't be so cold if it wasn't for the wind. But I was able to prove it a few days ago. So I'm taking my son out to school, and it's like maybe just above freezing, like maybe 37 degrees, something like that. So this is, heavy jacket, light coat weather. And so we're out there, like I didn't have my gloves on. I didn't have like anything covering my ears because the wind was not blowing. And I'm like, this is what we're talking about. Like, this is actually not horrible as long as there's no wind. So it's a lot more tolerable at the moment. So I could actually prove it for once.
Yeah, well, it sucks for us people with no hair.
I mean, hey, you forget I used to shave my head.
Oh no, I don't forget. I just am more well aware of the fact that you've pussied out.
Apparently, I was the only person who liked my head shaved. Virtually everybody else liked me with hair, so I decided to go ahead and grow it back out. Funny story though, one time. So this was, let's see, my son is 14, so about 10 years ago. So we had this polar vortex. Basically, it was like sub-zero for 2 straight weeks, right? And I remember one time I stepped out, fresh shaven head. It's like 18 degrees. We just came out of it. I had fresh shaved head, no hat. And I'm like, I got so used to the cold. I'm like, you know what? This isn't so bad. So I say that to show, like, yeah, we can actually adjust if we want to. I didn't adjust by choice. I just fucking had to because it was sub-zero for 2 weeks.
It's usually how it happens. It's Ohio.
Yeah, that's very true. So the news cycle has been fucking wild this past week.
Kind of more of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but I was going to nominate Putin as being our cunt of the week for having information and photographic evidence and not supplying that prior. Not that anybody wants to fucking see it, but I would like to congratulate Donnie for being the first LGBTQ plus president of the United States.
So it's funny you say that because I posted a video earlier this morning. So the joke that's been going around on the internet is that this dance makes sense now. But I'm like, wait. Who's the second one? Who's the other one?
That's probably Putin.
And it's funny you say that because I had 2 comments immediately, 3 actually, that said it was probably Putin. But
it just reminds me of that part in Ricky Stenicki. He's like, he's double dicking it.
But actually, so my pick as far as cunt of the week, so Putin is a good one. It's a more comedic one. I was actually going to go with Megyn Kelly because did you hear about this?
Well, she's always a cunt.
Yeah.
What did she do this time? Because I honestly have completely stopped paying attention to her. Well, I don't think I've ever paid attention to her, but
Well, I don't give, like, honestly at this point I enjoy laughing at her because she had a little bit of a crash out on the news. You might remember some years ago because Santa was white and Jesus was white. Ma'am, Santa, I might give you that one because I think that legend started up in UK or something like that.
Well, yes and no. So Santa, the idea of Santa Claus is based off several different entities. The Santa Claus that we know now, white beard, red suit, big fat white guy, was created, I believe, by either Coca-Cola or Macy's, or a combination of both of them together. So the Santa Claus I'd say white people know and love to this day is nothing but more than advertising and a marketing ploy. But if you want to go through things, you'll have like Saint Nick, you'll have Kris Kringle. in Norse, it was Odin, and then it's just one of those things that it comes from a very, very many uh, different belief structures that predate modern Christianity. And when I say modern Christianity, I mean anything like after like 800 AD.
That's fair. And honestly, we keep talking about that, how Christianity basically stole like all of these different things. We talked about this last year. It's not a Christmas tree, it's a fucking Yule tree.
Yeah.
The whole thing about Christmas, it was the winter solstice. They took like historians say that Jesus, provided he was real at all, was born in the spring. But speaking of that, yeah, because she said like Jesus was white. Bitch, do you know where he was supposed to be born?
There were no white people then that I'm aware of, unless they
No.
were Roman, and they were pretty dark skinned themselves.
Like, no, a white dude with like blue eyes or whatever, they would have killed him as a child because he would have been a freak.
Oh, you mean Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, actually, because he looks very much like what they think Jesus looked like.
Yeah.
But no, what Megyn Kelly did this time, this was them trying to rationalize and move the goalposts and everything. So the whole thing with the Epstein shit coming out, she said on TV, full confidence, well, there's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Ma'am. You know what they have in common is that they're not adults. Like,
yeah.
There was a comedian some years back, and he talked about this. He was a stand-up comedian. You might have seen the bit. It's actually more popular than I thought. But he said, technically, the definition of pedophilia is, I think he said like 10 and under, maybe 12 and under, something like that. And like from that to 18 is like hebophilia or some shit like that. But the problem is,
yeah.
But the problem is you can't draw the line and define those two words without sounding like a pedophile. So that's why Megyn R. Kelly is my pick for cunt of the week, because like, why did you draw that line? Did you
just add the R?
Yes, I did. We all know that a 15 and a 5-year-old is not the same thing, but we also know that in the context of the conversation, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Putin cunt of the week for tongue in cheek, and I would definitely have to get with Megyn Kelly as cunt of the week. So you're welcome.
Also, what's been crazy about this past week? Have you seen like this MAGA civil war that's going on? Have you seen the spat between him and Margie?
Oh, well, it's the world's coming to an end when Marjorie Taylor Greene makes sense. I mean, I really continuously want to hate on this woman, and when she's actually saying something that I agree with, it's like, wait a minute, what's wrong with me? Hold on, I got to go reanalyze everything I think about life. And then she says something stupid that makes me go, oh, okay, yeah, we're good.
There's a guy that I follow online. He started on TikTok. He's still on TikTok. He now streams on Twitch and YouTube. He used to do political debates. Now he mostly just covers the news. And the comment that he made, and he's on the left, he identifies as a Democrat. Some of what he advocates for is further left than the Democrats, but I think he's thinking of it a little bit too binary, because he still advocates like for universal health care, which Democrats, as we know them, don't really advocate for that. So he calls himself that, but I think he's thinking too binary for like what he actually is. But anyway, he makes the argument. He's like, I think she's actually trying her best. She's just not that bright. Which I'm not disagreeing with that.
Well, what's funny is a lot of her theories are very reminiscent of those who suffer from schizophrenia. with the government shooting lasers and controlling things. So I mean, we have the weather machines that can control the weather and stuff like that, and I'm not saying she's schizophrenic. I'm not saying she has schizophrenia. I'm saying she just has a lot of beliefs that mirror that of those with schizophrenia.
So I've been saying how, I've been seeing a lot of people online, and actually the guy that we work with, Jonathan Miller, he shared something on Facebook, and he was talking about that, how, like, is she like waking up or whatever. And I've seen a lot of people like, oh, she's still not invited to the cookout, which no, she's not. Absolutely
No,
fucking not.
You're not fucking coming to my cookout.
What I said was, I don't think that she is waking up per se. I don't know that she's switching sides. Now, the one guy that I know, he thinks that she may actually end up on the left, because he said that where she is at right now is like, he's like, I've never seen somebody go as far as she has gone and turn back. So he thinks that she may end up on the left. I really don't want her to, because I don't want to. I don't want to be on her side. But I think what she's realizing is that Trump was never on her side.
No.
I've been like, I've this finally hit me, and I don't know why it just hit me recently, but MAGA are the fucking rhinos and have always been. They've been saying rhino for so many years, but they're the fucking rhinos. They were never actual Republicans. They just hijacked it.
Well, I mean, we've always wanted a third party system, and we finally got one, just not the party we wanted.
And I really, really wish that they just didn't bend the knee back in 2023, roughly, when they took him back, because he was threatening, like, I'll make my own party. I'm like, bitch, go for it. I hope you do, because I know what's gonna happen. Last I heard, he actually he's been radio silent on the internet for like the last 24 hours, I've heard, and his schedule went dark. No rallies, no press conferences, nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's funny that this might. I mean, we were kind of hoping for a while that this would finally be what does it, but now that we're here, I don't think I thought it would happen. I genuinely don't.
Yep.
I mean, there's still some that are going to take it to their grave, which, go for it.
Sooner than later.
But switching gears to something slightly more lighthearted, I shared a link in the Discord the other day. I'm only talking about this because it's fucking funny. So Elon, or as I'm now going to call him from now on, is Tiny Stark. He is trying to create robots that will follow criminals. And this is part of why I called him Tiny Stark, because remember, that was Tony's shtick in Age of Ultron, is a suit of armor around the world. Like, yeah. I feel like that's what he's trying to do here, but I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. This is not going to happen. This is not going to be a thing. And this is why I'm just calling him Tiny Stark. And you know what? I'm going to make it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little picture of him. Just a little tiny thing with him in a fucking.
Put him in the Iron Man suit.
A shitty one.
Should make it rust colored, stuff like that. Like put some patine on there, like it's tarnishing like the green molding of copper and stuff like that.
I think I might do that. It's like it'll just be funny. But also, hang on, because I had another article on my phone I was going to talk about. This is shameless plug here. We actually no, we actually have some merchandise that has gone up on the let me go to it real quick, and I'm going to share my screen. So, as you guys may remember, we are now with Phoenix Creative Works, which is also why I'm now putting the logo up in the corner. It used to be our microphone logo, but I'm switching over to that. But yeah, I'm just going to do a shameless plug here real quick. That was not the right button. I don't know why I always click the wrong button. Um, Here we go. So I've talked before how we have the site Phoenix Creative Works. Um, as I mentioned before, we do have a blog that we're now kind of working on. Um, I recently watched the
What the
Fantastic
hell
Four.
is wait. What is that?
That logo, I just plugged it into Copilot and I let it make me an image. I
What
I, I wasn't mad at it, honestly.
I okay. Um you look like you're the cousin of the Fat Albert rejects.
I,
Like your Mushmouth's cousin or something like, hey man, here comes my cousin. Here comes EC. How's you going, everybody?
but I tried like multiple attempts to get a picture that I liked. This was the first one that looked half decent, so I just took it. Um,
There's not enough white in the hair and beard for you.
Fuck you. Copilot didn't pick that up. It's, um,
Well, that's because
but
Copilot sucks.
yeah, that's true. But so yeah, just as a shameless plug, so like last week I finally watched the Fantastic Four movie, which I was woefully unimpressed with. It's
Why do you not listen to me? I mean,
it's not
seriously.
it's not that I didn't believe you. It's more like I still try to watch all of it just so like I know everything that's going on. And I didn't hate the movie. I just was not it wasn't great. Honestly, the best Fantastic Four movie that we've gotten to date is still The Incredibles.
Fair enough.
But uh, also, this one here, this mixed reel. So we kind of all talked about this. So we're gonna start doing like movie reviews and everything. We'll talk about movies that we enjoy, movies that we hate, movies that we have mixed reactions about. So you guys can look forward to that. But where I was going, excuse me, and I will drop this site in the description. Also, for those of y'all who are watching this, who are listening and not watching, sorry, you're just going to have to click the site to get a look at it. So we have here our oh, I guess it's showing me the back of the t-shirt. So we have our t-shirt with the Men Behind the Curtain logo. I guess now I'm going to have to keep this logo for at least a year. And then we have our I guess I'll call it a cunt shirt, but you can see what it is. And these are $25 a piece. This is actually not terrible. I genuinely do think I'm going to pick up one, if not both of those shirts.
I'm gonna pick up both as soon as I can and be wearing them on the show and out
Oh,
in public too.
absolutely. Kind of have to. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and just do a shameless plug on that site. I know that I don't know what I'm going to write this week. I'm going to figure something out. But uh, anyway, where was I going with that? Because no, there's a couple of things on my. I didn't necessarily care to share the article, like for us to actually look at it. I was just going to talk about it a little bit. Um, Also, by the way, you mentioned before that Andor had like 6 episodes. It actually is 12 on second season.
Is it?
Yeah, I just got through the episode where no, I'm not gonna give any
Oh,
spoilers.
yeah. Okay.
Basically, when when Andor and Bix are walking away, and he hits the little detonator, and you get that cool little walk away moment. That's the episode I just finished. So
Okay.
we're now up to 2 BBY, which you
Yeah.
did tell
Okay.
me about the time jumps.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think they did 3 episodes were a segment of time in the storyline. So like the first
Yeah,
3 episodes were like 1 year, and then the next 3 episodes were like a couple years afterwards over a course of 1 year, and up until you get to where it's getting.
yeah. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm gonna try to finish it this week if I can. But it's It's been great. Like the first couple of episodes that I mentioned before had a very slow start to it. But once it really got rolling, it's been good. I love Stellan Skarsgård in this show. Like, I don't know that he's ever not been entertaining, but he is particularly good in this show.
Yeah, just be ready to cry.
But where I was going, I had an article. So Alan Richson, which for those of you guys who don't recognize the name, he does the Jack Reacher show. If you watched Titans, he was Hawk, and he's talking about wanting to.
That's my wife's boyfriend.
Honestly, I understand. um, my wife, I know that she's always like she seems to gravitate towards like more the Pacific Islander types. She liked Jason Momoa, she liked Dave Bautista, she liked Roman Reigns, and I'm not mad at her for it. And honestly, I've had someone tell me that I look Samoan before. I don't know how the fuck they saw that, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll take it. But so Alan Richardson has talked about a DC role. He didn't name who he wants to play. He just said that he wants to play somebody who's a little bit more gritty. Maybe not necessarily a villain, but I guess more of a maybe an anti-hero, which off the top of my head, and this literally just popped into my head, he might make a good Deathstroke. Now that Manganiello's not doing it.
Yeah. Possibly.
It kind of depends on how they want to portray the character because like Manu Bennett, is he Australian, do you know, or do you know what he
New
like what his
Zealand.
national New Zealand? Okay.
Yeah.
His accent is kind of tied to the character now. So it's going to be a little difficult to rewrite that for a lot of fans. Mortal Kombat actually did that with Kano. So I don't know if you remember this. Like before the movie came out in 1995, in the original book or in the original game, there was a little booklet. Kano was supposed to be half American, half Japanese, but Trevor Goddard, I believe was his name. He's Australian. He was so popular as Kano, they just retconned the character and made him Australian because he was so fucking good in the movie.
Right.
And I wonder Manu Bennett might have done that to Deathstroke potentially. So
the thing I loved about Deathstroke is he's completely his anonymity. I can't hardly say that fucking word. It's one of those things that's always in question. I mean, because the mask, you never know who's behind it. So I mean, doesn't necessarily have to be Wilson. You know, it could. You know, it could be somebody else who's taken up the mantle and kept going, kind of like what Marvel did with Ant-Man with Scott.
Yeah. I do know that does Scott does have comic book origins, but not the way that it was depicted in the movies. And Pym was Ant-Man like forever.
Yeah.
And even when he retired as Ant-Man, he was still like Giant Man or did other quote unquote roles in Marvel. So yeah, that's a good example. I am still and I like legacy characters. Robin is a good one. If you guys are a casual, Robin is the best example because you have Dick Grayson, then you have Jason Todd. Both of them graduated and went on to another role with Nightwing and
Red Hood.
Red Hood. You have Tim Drake, who later became Red Robin, which I guess just means that Robin was kind of what he always wanted to be.
Yum.
And now we have Damian Wayne, which they're in some of the recent comics, they actually have shown Damian Wayne as Batman. Like it looks kind of badass. Have you seen this?
I have not. I've kind of gotten away from the comic scene within the last decade or so because it was a rehash of everything that's like, I don't need to see any more of this same shit. Come up with original ideas.
You're not wrong. It's more I happen to stay in the news cycle. Just it's my algorithm. It knows what I'm interested in, and it just keeps showing me things. Um, Trying to pull it up right now. Yeah. So his Batman kind of looks like Spider-Man Noir a little bit.
Hmm.
If it'll fucking show. Are you?
I
Hang on.
see
Let me
nothing.
try that again. Let me try that again. All right, let's try it that way. So apparently it. Oh, there it goes.
Uh,
It kind of reminds me a lot of Spider-Man Noir.
yeah, a lot of throwback to um, Pattinson's Batman too.
Yeah, and I can see like a little bit of Frank Miller. Um,
I'm actually not
yeah,
impressed with that.
yeah. So yeah, I. Although it's cool that that he took up the mantle. Why the fuck Streamyard is just being an asshole today? It's taking forever because I got rid of the screen and then me and you were still shoved over on the side.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I mean, it's fixed now, but yeah, that was
yeah,
fucking weird. But it was kind of interesting because it means that Damien is not so far gone. I actually like the dynamic between Bruce and Damien because Damien was raised by the League of Assassins. He was raised to kill, and Batman has a strict no kill rule. So I like the dynamic there where he's trying to quote unquote rehab him into not killing people.
yeah.
So I like the dynamic there. I don't think that we're ever going to get into the movies because it's so far gone. He's the fourth Robin, and that's if you don't count people like Carrie Brown, I think was her name, and
Yep.
Stephanie. There's so many fucking Robins. So I would be shocked if we ever get a live action Damien, but it would be cool. Um,
I'm just glad we got a live action Nightwing because Nightwing's my personal favorite. So
and honestly, that actor Brendan Thwaites, I believe was his name. He's a great fucking Nightwing. Look,
yeah,
if you guys might not have liked Titans, I will acknowledge the show had its problems. Say what you will about it, but a lot of the casting was great.
yep,
We've talked about this before. Like Brendan Thwaites as Dick Grayson slash Nightwing he looked fantastic for the role, and it's a spot on accurate suit. Um, I don't remember Tegan something for Raven. She was incredible for Raven. Um, Beast Boy, I could take it or leave it. Honestly, I don't.
I don't think they had enough. I don't think they developed that character enough. I think he would have been great at it, but I don't think he was really
I
given the opportunity.
I think he had good moments. They had good ideas surrounding his character, but I agree with you. I don't think that they took the time to flesh him out and make him like a really good character. Um, I've said before, like with Anna Diop. Anna Diop, their version of Starfire was a huge departure from the comics. The fact that Starfire like doesn't usually well, some of this is coming off the Teen Titans show, so let me make that clear. But like I'm used to Starfire not understanding, Earth customs or culture and things like that. So Anna Diop's character was a huge departure, and I acknowledge that, but I enjoyed it, and I also like what they did with their sister with Blackfire. That was actually
Yeah,
really cool. Um, like you find out the Starfire actually didn't have powers, and like they took it from Blackfire, but then you find out that Starfire Corey did have some innate abilities. It just needed to be woken up. That was a really cool story arc, and
yeah.
I still want her for
Speaking,
Storm.
yeah. Speaking of story arcs, there's a theory going around, which brings us to our catastrophe. Now
Okay,
we're gonna get to nerd out about this a little bit. We're going to the Matrix. Now,
okay. Oh, this should be good.
who is the one in the entire Matrix? What quadrilogy? Is that the correct term?
Technically, although I think they're working on a fifth one, I don't
Oh
think that we need a
Jesus!
fifth one. Yeah, I don't think We'll just say the franchise. We'll just say the
Okay.
series.
So in the entire Matrix franchise, who is the one?
I think I might know where you're going with this because I have seen a theory that actually Smith is the one.
That is correct.
We are supposed to think that it was Neo, and Neo is a major catalyst, but Smith was actually ultimately what changed everything.
Mhm. Well, the thing is the theory goes, um, the prophecy is about somebody who is, or about an entity that was born inside the Matrix. So it's proposing that the Oracle tricked Neo into being a Trojan horse to bring the source to Smith, allowing Smith to gain the One's powers and achieve his goal of destroying the Matrix. That is the whole premise of the theory. And they're making arguments. That Smith was born inside the Matrix. He had the challenge to change. He had the power to change the Matrix by be able to creating or copying himself with just creation and the assimilation and the different motivations of Smith behind it. And in the very end, it was his rogue code that the architect could not eliminate from the program itself that infiltrated the actual program and rewrote the Matrix.
So this actually goes a little bit further, and I actually really like this theory. So I actually love that you brought this up. Um, so I believe this is canon, but the thing about it with Neo, so the architect talks about how he is the fifth iteration. So the movie doesn't actually say this, but humanity, all of them, are basically cyborgs right now. He has cybernetic enhancements, in his arms, in his legs, and in his brain, which is how they get jacked into the Matrix. They're not cyborgs in the way that we would think of them, but they are essentially cyborgs. Like, it is part of their anatomy, right? So Neo, as what we perceive to be the one, he has coding, actual digital coding in his DNA. That coding has been recycled from one matrix to the other, which we know Neo to be the
Fifth
is it
iteration.
fifth one. Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was fifth or sixth. Um, so the theory goes is basically that coding has been reinstalled into a new person every cycle until it hits Smith. And Smith unintentionally told us what happened in the second Matrix. He said, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened, if something was overwritten or copied. And that's where it was. He copied some of his coding into Smith and gave him those extra abilities. Another really cool moment, the machines needed Smith to win that fight because when Neo was hooked up in the Machine City, the ships that they said in the very first movie, they are hacking into the Matrix. They're pirating, essentially. It is an indirect source. When Neo went to the Machine City, he is connected directly. It is not a hack, he is directly in there, which means as soon as Smith copied over into him, Smith was connected directly to the source. And if you didn't catch this, right after he gets copied and they cut to Neo in the real world, they sent a pulse. There's a pulse that goes right in there, and Neo just kind of jerks his head, and then it goes into the Matrix. And Neo, now Smith, jerks his head. And that's when the fucking snowball effect happens. So it's actually, I love it. It's so subtle, but like once you can really analyze what's happening, I love how much thought was put into it. Um, I God, I wish they would make movies like this more often. I really do.
Yep, that was the catastrophe.
No, I loved it. Now, the newest one, Matrix not Revolutions, Resurrections, completely fucked that theory up. And I would have,
though,
because so you've seen it, right?
yeah.
Resurrections. So every version of the Matrix needed, or at least post Revolutions, needed to have Neo and Trinity in it, but they were doing their best to keep Neo and Trinity apart. So Neo is an integral part of the system. So I would argue that they did kind of fuck that theory up with the newest movie.
Yeah, from that standpoint, yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of, did they even really ever leave the Matrix? To me, Zion does. In my mind, Zion doesn't exist. Zion is just part of the program that they think they got. So they never left the pods. Technically, they only have been programmed to think that they had left the pods, entered Zion, and then are re-entering the Matrix and uploading and have these certain abilities and can do this and that. So to me, they are still in a dream state. Humans never leave the pods.
That's a possibility. Although I think that raises a lot more questions than it answers.
Well, think about it. If you have, so we're talking about conflict, right? And conflict actually wastes more energy than, a peaceful situation or scenario, right? So when the machines or whatever, the Matrix happens to be, or whatever is needing the Matrix to do this, so they start changing the programs of some of the what's going on into these pods in order to create conflict, therefore to ramp up energy to create whatever it is they need to create at that time.
So actually, another thing with that, I don't know if I've talked about it on here before. Have you heard the theory surrounding the Merovingian and Seraph, like what their real origins are?
I've heard several theories. I don't know if I've heard the one that you're about to mention.
So the theory that I've heard, and I'm accepting this because it makes the most sense. So for this theory to go ahead, we have to assume that everything the architect told him was true or true enough. So he says the first Matrix was a paradise where no one suffered, everyone was happy. So that essentially sounds like what we as people more or less envision heaven to be, right?
Yeah.
So was Seraph an angel / agent of the very first Matrix? So there's a couple of things with that. Number one, he has a very different code. His code is golden. And when he approaches the guards at the Merovingians club, they said, "Holy shit, it's wingless." Why would they call him that? So I think it actually lends credibility to the idea that he was probably an agent of the first Matrix. And if you're going to have agents, which are really just more supervisors, it makes sense that you would make the agents into angels. So I think it actually substantiates that theory. Merovingian's where it gets fun. Is the Merovingian, so if the first Matrix was a paradise, that was a disaster. So it makes sense, if you're the architect, you're going to swing the pendulum in the other direction. So the second Matrix is going to be a hellscape, right? Theoretically. Merovingian wears a lot of red and black, and he very much has the aesthetic of a vampire. And not only that, you look around his club and everything, look at the twins. The twins look like ghosts. So the second Matrix was probably all of the supernatural things that you hear about, including the Merovingian himself. And he's been around for a while. He told Neo, "I've survived your predecessors and I will survive you," which means he said predecessors, plural. So he's been around this is at least his third, probably fourth cycle. So, and apparently the people at his club have been there for some time. So I really like that theory, and it actually tracks with everything that they've said about the Matrix. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. A lot of that I got from the channel I mentioned before, Matrix Explained. I know I've plugged it in a previous video. I'll go ahead and link it in this one. But I love the theories around it.
Yeah, I can get behind that one.
And while we're talking about movies real quick, I'm just gonna say something here. So me and my son actually just watched Gladiator yesterday. I've been trying to get him to sit down and watch it, and He's always in the middle of something. He's gaming with the boys or whatever, right? Now, I'm not going to go too deeply into Gladiator because we might talk about that for mixed reels. I know I've talked about it a little bit before just with the soundtrack, which, again, beautiful fucking score. But it pissed me off to no end way back when I would see a lot, and a lot of it skewed towards the male demographic. People will talk about, oh, Gladiator is such a great movie. You got to see it. The fight scenes are incredible. And it pissed me off that that was all they said. The fight scenes are amazing, but the story is better. Like the fight scenes are incredible by themselves, but the story is so much fucking better. And I was so proud that my son already recognized that without me having to say anything. I was so happy to hear that. He then asked me about Gladiator 2, which I have not watched it. I have heard that it does not live up to the original one.
Um, it's not a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I think you could have easily have not tied it to the original Gladiator and done it and just kind of changed a few things here that tied it back to that first movie, and the movie would have been all right.
That's one thing that I'm hearing is that it wasn't a bad movie, but Gladiator won Best Picture for a very valid reason. Like most time when something wins Best Picture of the year, it's this artsy fartsy movie that it was okay, but like y'all are glazing this movie too much. That's normally what wins Best Picture. Gladiator is one that it won Best Picture, and I agree with it that it is a phenomenal fucking movie. I might even go as far as to say, like, I don't know if I can really find much flaw in the movie. If I had to pick a flaw, it might be in Joaquin Phoenix's like his dialogue and his accent, and that might also be his inexperience at the time. I'd never heard of Joaquin Phoenix before this movie, so the accent maybe was a little hokey at times. But if that's the only flaw that I can find in the movie, then and you know what, I'm probably saying too much in case we do actually talk about this movie.
Not even going to bring up the historical inaccuracies.
No, because they never sold it as a true story to begin with. Um, Although I did look it up, Commodus did fight in the arena. That's not how he died. He died of an assassination and everything, but he did actually fight in the arena. So that actually was a cool nod, I thought. But yeah, the historical inaccuracies, I don't care because they never said it was based on a true story. So now, while Marcus Aurelius and Commodus were real, I guess you could call it a historical fiction, maybe.
Yeah, I guess that would work.
I mean, it's kind of like the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. We
Hey,
all yes.
hey, that is completely 100% true. Abraham Lincoln was a vampire slayer.
Um, Honestly, have you read the book to it?
I have not.
The book is. I hate how cliche this sentence is. The book is so much better than the movie. Like the movie is cool. It's a fun movie, but like the book adds so much more lore and makes it make so much more sense. Like the movie doesn't really delve into how the North at first was getting their fucking asses kicked. And like when you think about it, if the South has vampires, that actually makes sense why the North was getting their ass kicked. It honestly, I would recommend the book. Um, that same author wrote Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, which I was gonna check it out, but I just don't care.
I I don't know. I mean, you know how busy my schedule is. Like I barely get time to eat as opposed to sit down and read.
Well, you could probably find it on Libby if you want to pull up an audiobook.
All the audio that's going through my ears is everything I'm working on.
That's a fair point. Maybe when we get a break between seasons and everything stops for 5 minutes.
We're in a break between seasons now, and I'm not getting a break.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to take this time because I'm not in episodes. I'm only in episode 2. Like, we've done table reads all the way up to episode 4. I've only been in one episode thus far, so I don't have lines to record. I might take this time to actually write another short. I've been kind of thinking about how I want to do this one, and I've got a basic framework how I want this to play out.
Yeah. Oh, and I've got something I need to talk about because I want one of my characters to throw it back into Chuckles' face, because Chuckles is known for quoting specific things as they should have actually been quoted. And I have a line that my character, Chuckles' cousin, is going to throw back in Chuckles' face.
Oh God, I love that.
And I'm just waiting to find out where to use it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I'm wrong. I think I do have lines in episode 4, because I was reading that the other day, and I was actually trying to think about some French dialogue that I can add to it. Speaking of which, I know some. So I met somebody on TikTok who is she's, I guess, certified. She speaks French, and I told her about it. Like, hey, do you mind if I message you sometime for like certain bits of dialogue? And she sent me a bunch of shit. Like, I can say like, I'll break your fingers or some shit like that in French. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
No, it's going to be interesting, considering the fact that what happens to Chuckles' cousin and the lovely way that I get to play it.
But all of that, yes, we are plugging Valmont a little bit here. But one thing that I will say, so this man here is a very harsh critic, and he's still talking very highly of like the way that we're making the show and everything. So that, I think, should help, because like, I'm trying to think of something that I enjoy and you don't, just off the top of my head.
Marion's Pizza.
Honestly, like, I was actually talking to my wife about that yesterday. She does kind of like it, but I'm like, I agree that I think it is overrated.
Well, she's still lovely, even though she doesn't have taste in pizza.
We've both were born and raised here, so you have to take that into context. But
something you like that I don't?
Yeah, I'm trying to think anything off the top of my head, like any like TV shows or movies. Well, okay, Supernatural, because I know that you said you don't like that show.
I've seen 10 minutes of it. Like,
yeah,
the entire run of the show, I've seen 10 minutes. So I can't say whether I dislike it or like it. I've only seen 10 minutes. Like, I hate Seinfeld, and I've only seen 10 minutes of that, and that fucking sucked.
Honestly, fuck Seinfeld. And Seinfeld, I don't think has aged well over the years. Like, the humor just doesn't translate. And plus, we found out that Michael Richards was a piece of shit, Kramer. And actually, did you hear about how Seinfeld himself was a little bit of a piece of shit? Because well, in light of the Israel-Gaza thing that's been going on, and Jerry Seinfeld is Jewish, obviously, he is now jumping on the bandwagon that to be anti-Israeli government, because they are committing war crimes, let's be clear about that,
yes,
is to be anti-Semitic. And I'm like, you piece of shit. Plus, also, let me point out, Palestinians are also Semites, so shut the fuck up, please. But yeah, so Seinfeld is kind of a piece of shit too, and an unfunny one at that.
Yes,
like literally the only thing he's ever done that I enjoyed was a B movie.
Yeah, and it was a B movie too.
Yeah, that was a good play on words. But the funniest thing about that movie was Renee Zellweger's character. Like, her boyfriend was so he was rightfully offended. Like, how's she folded for a B? like he's looking at her behind her like, what? Like, honestly, he was right.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I don't know that I had any other articles or anything that I was going to try to pull up. Oh, wait a minute. I saw one This was kind of ridiculous. So, where was this? This was in Chicago. So, somebody please put Grandpa in a nursing home. I swear to Christ, please put him away. Um, so this is on the Daily Beast. So take that for what you will. But he demanded troop deployment to Chicago over a fictional shopping center. The Miracle Mile Shopping Center in Chicago. It doesn't fucking exist. I swear to God, I really think that what's happening is like Stephen Miller and some of them are showing him like movie footage or something. I swear to God, I think that's what's happening. And he kind of told on himself about a month or so ago when he was trying to move into Portland. And he said something about like, oh, the footage is so bad unless they're showing me fake footage. I think they're showing him fake footage.
Well, it's like, didn't they try to show that like the protests in Portland and stuff like that were violent, yet it had like Italian policia written on the shields and stuff like that. So it's like, you might want to Photoshop that shit out. I mean, and it's not that difficult. I can actually show you how to do it, Fox News. So,
yeah, and like, oh, it's war torn. There's fires everywhere. Like, are they just showing him Section 13 of Pan Am? Is that what's going on?
all the districts have checked in.
You know what? It was funny because I know we were talking about that during Trump's first term. There, we're sitting here like, oh, geez, I sure hope my district works out good in the Hunger Games, and like, we're honestly so fucking close to that being a reality. Like
it's like a combination of the Hunger Games and The Handmaid's Tale, all wrapped into one.
And actually, you know what? Yeah, and that's fucking crazy. I don't think that we talked about it. I think this happened during like one of our off weeks. Have we talked on the show about that fucking gaffe that Stephen Miller made?
He's made quite a few.
The plenary authority one. Have we talked about that? Oh,
Jesus Christ. No, we haven't.
Oh, God. This was so fucking hilarious. So I know that we're getting close to time, so I'm going to try to wrap this up in a neat little bow here. For those of y'all who didn't miss it, he was on live TV on CNN. First off, fuck you, CNN. They have edited this out of their videos that they have published. But he tried to talk about the president has plenary authority, which means basically unquestioned. Like he can do literally whatever he wants and nobody can push back. But then as soon as he said the words plenary authority, he just stopped. He just quit talking. And he can't say the feed froze because you can still see him blinking. He just stopped talking. So it's like, oh, behind the camera, his handlers, shut the fuck up. Which, if you're listening and not watching, I was mouthing, shut the fuck up. That's what happened. But so anyway, so let me go ahead and wrap that up a little bit. AOC made a video. First off, I fucking love AOC. I really do. I do think that she might, at least at first, I do think she was a little bit overly optimistic, maybe to the point of being naive a little bit. Like when she tried to do the Green New Deal, I'm looking at everything in the Green New Deal, and I love most, if not all, of what I was seeing in here, but I'm like, this is never going to pass. If you think this is going to pass, you're being honestly kind of dumb. I will say that straight up. I love what she had in there, but it was never going to pass. Yeah. But she made a video and she's talking about like, you see these movies and you see all of these evil regimes and you think that these are just evil geniuses. And then here we are in reality, and Jesus Christ, this is the dumbest fucking administration. Like, I think that is the only thing saving us right now is they're trying to slide us into fascism, but it's the dumbest fucking people at the wheel. Like, I think they're not ineptitude is a good word, but it's incompetence. I think their incompetence is the only thing that's pulling our ass out of the fire at the moment, which is a fucking wild thing to say.
Yep.
But I guess we're getting pretty much about time, so I can go ahead and leave it at that unless you had anything you wanted to throw in as far
I
as any
have
plugs or anything.
I have nothing else. The only plugs I want to throw in is you've already gotten to, which is the website with t-shirts and everything for PCW team. So that was the only plug I had.
Yeah, so feel free to check that out. Again, honestly, like go ahead and check out the shirts. So you have one with the Carolina Storyteller logo, you have one with our logo. If you buy that, hey, that's good advertising for us because then you can talk to people about it. Even if you don't get that one, the other shirt that see you belong here, NT, come on. Y'all gonna tell me you don't want to wear that in public?
That
Really?
that works every day of the week.
It really fucking does. Which also, hats off, props were credit where credit is due. Boss man Jonathan Miller, that was his idea. I will give him credit for that. But it's a great fucking idea, and I genuinely think I am going. I can't wear that shirt to work, but
I
I
can't.
think I will. I can wear it to work if I'm working here, and even then, I have to keep the camera from here up.
I can wear it to all 4 jobs.
Yeah, actually, that would be hilarious to see that at the cigar shop. But yeah, so yeah, feel free to check out the website. I'm gonna be writing something on there, maybe bi-weekly because I genuinely don't know what to write right now. Um, but feel free to check that out. Again, we do have upcoming things with that mixed reel. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, check out our other socials, especially Facebook. I would really, really love to be able to do these as a live stream. Um, wow, that my fucking Wi-Fi has held up perfectly today. But as always, thank you. Feel free to give it a thumbs up. That helps us a lot as far as the algorithm goes. But y'all have a good one, and we will see you next Tuesday.
All right, be you.